Hi friends, this is Mohammad Jibran and welcome to our C language tutorials. Till now we have seen two scheduling algorithms. One is first come first serve and second one is shortest job first. And in the both videos I have told you that they are not at all good for time sharing environments. Now this time we'll be seeing an algorithm which is good for the sorry time sharing algorithms, time sharing environment. So sorry, the name of the algorithm which we'll be seeing right now is round robin scheduling algorithm. uh, Basically, just to make you understand what does round robin does is it will allocate a time slice, or it will allocate a small piece of time for each process to be executed. It won't execute the process completely unless until that time is satisfied. It will allow a process to execute. Once it exceeds that time, it will stop the execution of that particular process and it will jump to the next process. Till now in SCFS and SJF, what we were doing is whenever we were encountering any algorithm, we were completing the whole process and then we were jumping for the next process. But in this algorithm, we will be giving it a time slot, and according to that time slot we will be executing all the processes. So round robin is one of the oldest, simplest, fairest and most widely used scheduling algorithm, designed especially for the time sharing systems. A small unit of time, called the time slice or a quantum, is defined to differentiate between the processes, or to switch between the processes. All runnable processes are kept in a circular queue. The CPU scheduler goes around this queue, allocating the CPU to each process for a time interval of one quantum or one slice. New processes are added to the tail of the queue. The CPU scheduler picks the first process from the queue, sets a timer to interrupt after one quantum or one time slice. The dispatches and it dispatches the process. If the process is still running and the end of the quantum CPU is reached, then the process is added to the tail of the queue. If the process finishes before and the end of the before the end of the time slice, the process itself releases the CPU voluntarily. In either case, the CPU scheduler assigns the CPU to the next process in the ready queue. Every time a process is granted the CPU, a context switch occurs, which adds overhead to the process execution time. So this was about the round robin scheduling. Now let's see how round robin works. So first of all, we have three processes like 532. Okay, let me start everything again. Just a second. Okay, now as you see, we are having three processes with the burst time 532. So now I will be starting the this round robin scheduling algorithm. The first process to get executed is P1 because it came first. The burst time was 5, but as it has executed for 1 second, we have reduced the burst time to 4. Okay, so now the next process which will be getting executed is P2, whose burst time is 3. Now we'll keep the our P2 process in our processor and will execute it for a second. So now the P2 process has executed, and we have again decreased the burst time of it from 3 to 2 because it has executed 1 second. Now the next process to execute is process number 3, which has the burst time 2. So let's execute that process. And once this process P3 gets executed, the burst time of it becomes 1. As you can see, all the processes are not at all getting executed completely. First we began with process number 1, P1, which who had the burst time of 5, but what we did, we executed it for 1 second and then we stopped. Then we came to process number 2, we executed it for again 1 second and then again we stopped. Then we came to the process number 3, we executed it for a second and then again we stopped. So as you can see, we are stopping after each 1 second. So 1 second is the time slice for our this scheduling algorithm. We have given 1 second as the time schedule, or sorry, as the slice or the quantum. So it will be switching between the processes every 1 second. For first 1 second it was executing P1, the next 1 second it was with P2, next 1 second it was with P3. Now again for the next 1 second it will be with P1. So let's put P1 into the processor. So it's 4 right now. When the execution ends, we are again reducing 1 from its burst time, and now the burst time of P1 is 3 seconds. Now the next process is P2. So let's try to run it again. Now the burst time 2 will become 1. Now we need only 1 second to finish the whole completion of P2. So the next process to execute is P3 again. Now the burst time is right now 1, and when it gets completely executed, we don't have anything left in the P3 process. That means we have completely executed the P3 process. Now again we'll be going with P1 process because it's still not completed. We'll be again executing the P1 process, and after 1 second the burst time of P1 process will become 2, and then we'll again go for the P2 process. The burst time is 1 second. Once we execute it, it gets completely executed. Now both of this process P2 and P3 has executed completely. What we are left with is the burst time of P1. So now we will be executing P1 for 2 seconds for the first run. Again we'll run for 1 second the P1. Then as we don't have any other process in the queue to execute, we will again be executing the P1 process, whose burst time right now is 1. So if we run that process again, now we don't have any burst times of our processes because we have completed running execution of all the processes. So first we went for P1, P2, P3, P1. Let me show you everything once again. First of all, we went for P1 according to their time of arrival. We are going. We don't have any arrival times. We are assuming it in like that, this only. So P1, then P2, then came P3, then again P1, then we are going for P2, then next P3, then again next P1. P3 has completed its execution, so now we are going for P2, and as there is no P3, we are again going for P1. Now there is no P2 and P3, so we are going for P1 and P1, and now we have completely executed all the three processes, so our process queue is empty. So this is how a round robin scheduling works. Hope you understood the video, and thanks for watching it.